Alright, what's up guys? Coming on here with another Houston Texans video. I haven't really been on YouTube in a while. I've been busy, just went back to school. I'm up here in the Northeast and we've been getting tons of snow, so I haven't really had time to put any videos up, but Combine started yesterday, so just want to get my thoughts on the upcoming season, pretty much free agency and draft talk, a little draft talk. And I think this will be the year that O'Brien finally gets the team that he wants. Last year was kind of his rookie year, kind of had a lot of Kubiak guys there still left over, but I think they'll weed them out during this off season and finally get guys that they want. Starting off quarterback position, I think sign Ryan Mallett. I think that's a given. I don't think he'll receive huge money from anywhere else, and I think obviously he knows the system and he played great in that Cleveland game, and then he didn't play good in the Bengals game, but he was hurt, so it didn't really matter. You should probably cut Fitzpatrick. I don't see anything with him. I think he might have another year. It's just money that we don't need to spend, and then if we do sign Mallett and then we don't want to pick another quarterback in the draft, maybe sign Brian Hoyer if they can for cheap, have him and Mallett go at it. They're both Brian system guys, I think it'd be better to do that than draft a quarterback in the later rounds or third or fourth round. That's not really a given. Running back, we have Foster, but he's getting older and he's getting hurt. He got hurt last year. He's been hurt the year before. Alfred Blue was a backup. He had the game I went to was the Giant game, and he really didn't play great at all. And then he had his moments, but they should get another running back just in case that Foster gets hurt, because they really, when they couldn't rely on the run game last year, those are the games we lost, and we couldn't do anything. That Giant game, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how much we ran for, but we didn't run for it at all because we only had Blue and I think maybe Jonathan Grimes, but he's been there for a couple of years, and he really hasn't done much either. So if anything, maybe third or fourth round, maybe, or even free agency. I think even picking up a veteran, maybe like a Frank Gore, Frank Gore probably get decent money, but maybe like Jones Drew, or draft one of those. There's a deep running back class. So I think even drafting a running back maybe in the third or fourth round, they could still get a decent prospect. There's plenty of guys. I think a lot of the guys probably, there's only a few go in the first round, a couple of second rounds. Third round, they can probably still get a couple of decent prospects. I think that's what it would probably look at. Receiver, we have Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins. I think there's what the hell is his name? Demarius Johnson. I think he's a free agent. I don't think they'll re-sign him. He really didn't do much. They won't re-sign Keyshawn Martin. Trying to think what else we have on receivers. We had a couple guys that we drafted. Bonner we drafted. He was hurt all year. I think they'd probably maybe sign Demarius if we don't have anyone else. Or yeah, I think that's his name, Demarius Johnson. But I think they might let Andre Johnson go, or if anything, restructure his contract. His contract is pretty big, and we can't really. We need more players, and we can't afford a 33-year-old that's getting paid a ton of money. He is producing on the field, but we just can't. If he needs to go, where he needs to go, we should just let him go, and then focus on that pick, maybe picking up a cheaper veteran in free agency or drafting a receiver. There's plenty of good receivers coming out this year. I don't think Kevin White or Cooper will be that 16. If anything, they'll probably pick like Jalen Strong, Devontae Parker, maybe Darrell Green Beckham. He has some off-the-field issues, but he's supposed to turn his life around. He's freaking same size and pretty much speed and build as Calvin Johnson. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Calvin Johnson, but he's a big receiver that Mallett could fall in love with pretty much. I think if they do want to pick him, maybe they trade down a little bit and then accrued more picks, because we could use that, and maybe get him later in the first round, because I think some teams might be skeptical because of his off-the-field issues. But I think if they want to, pretty sure, don't want to avoid that, I'd say Strong. I'd say Strong over Parker, because I think Strong's just a better receiver. Parker's had his injuries issues too, but I remember the Notre Dame game, Strong had a really good game, and he had a great combine today. I think a lot of receivers did too, but he had a really good combine. Tight ends, we still have Garrett Graham, Fedorowicz, and Griffin. They didn't do much last year. I'm pretty sure Graham got hurt, and Fedorowicz really didn't do much, and needed Ryan Griffin. Hopefully they get them in the system more this year. Offensive line, you got Dwayne Brown, Ben Jones. We don't know, Ben Jones and Ciafilu. They really didn't give Ciafilu a chance. He did terrible last year, but He's still obviously transitioning to the NFL game. I say let Chris Myers go. He's small, and last year got beat up. I remember the Raven game. He was getting blown off the ball. We were killing him, but it still didn't matter. A couple other games, he's getting blown up too. He's just too small for the system, and he's just getting old. He has a big contract. Cut him. Maybe move Ben Jones to center, and then have Siafulu play guard. Brandon Brooks at guard again. Derek Newton, I think they should probably, if they have, for cheap money, it's definitely worth re-signing him, because he had his best year at Houston. He played great. I'm not going to say he didn't play like outstanding, but he played pretty damn good at that right tackle position, and he played pretty good at right guard when Brandon Brooks got hurt, or Ben Jones. One of them got hurt, but he played good when he played right guard too. So I think if they can get him for the money, it's well worth re-signing him, and that's just another thing we have to worry about. If not, that's another thing they could look at. 16, probably in the second, third round. Like, you don't need a first-round pick to be a solidified right tackle, but I don't know. There's some of these tackles coming out of projects. I don't know why you'd pick in the first round if you're going to have a project. Flowers from Miami, Clemmings from Pittsburgh. Like, they're saying like these kids are going to be amazing, but they're going to take time. So why would you pick someone in the first round that's not going to be a right-away starter? I don't think they would. If they're going to pick a right tackle, they'd probably pick Collins from LSU. He's been a left tackle for years. He can easily transition to right. I think it makes sense if we lose Derek Newton. But if anything, even if we lose Derek Newton, maybe re-sign, just sign a veteran free agency that's not, maybe a one-year deal. Then he plays decent this year. Then you go draft next year, focus on the tackle position. Because Dwayne Brown's getting old too, so we have to focus on that eventually. Defense, we have Crick, Watt, defense ends. They both played great last year, especially Watt. Amazing, should have won MVP. That's another story for another day. Crick played really good this year. I thought he could use some more work. I think it would be great for him to go train with Watt in Wisconsin. I think a lot of the linemen could use that. Nose tackle, we had Pickett and Poe last year. Pickett played great from getting signed off the couch. He played really good, and I think they could sign him for cheap money and just another year. He's up there in age, 37, I think, obviously, but I think if they get the right, maybe give him a little more money, another year out of Ryan Pickett, because Lewis Nix was hurt last year, so we don't really know what we have with him. Outside backers is probably one of our biggest needs, even though we drafted Clowney last year. Brooks Reed's a free agent. Whitney Mercil's a free agent next year. Clowney's coming off microfiber leg knee surgery. I don't even know what the whole thing is, so he might not be ready for the season, or if he is, week 1, it's questionable. So I think that's another position they could easily look at in free agency. If they don't want to sign Brooks Reed for big money, maybe let him go and sign a veteran for cheap money. I think Dwight Freeney would be great. Dwight Freeney ain't the best player right now, but for cheap money, he's a good pass rusher. He's going to get one-on-one play, too. It's not like he's going to get a double team there with Watt, so I think he could be a viable option. And then maybe draft linebacker, outside linebacker with that first pick in this first-round pick. There's a bunch of good pass rushers coming out this year. Most of them are probably going to go in the top 10, but I think if it's necessary, maybe they trade Andre Johnson. They don't even let him go. They trade Andre Johnson, maybe get more picks, trade up to get to higher. I think a great player. Last year, everyone was talking about how Clowney didn't have the hustle and didn't have things. Obviously, he had the couple games that he did play. He played okay. Well, I'm not going to say he played bad or good. He played okay. Obviously, he was still hurt when he came back. His first game he played okay, but I think the non-hustling, his work ethic is the thing that really is getting him right now. He really doesn't have that motor. The thing is, people say they have the strength and stuff like that. If you don't have the pass rushing ability right when you come out of college, hey, that's something you can work on. But the work ethic, the motor, that thing that J.J. Watt has, that people are saying when he came out of college, he was a safe pick. That motor that he has makes him better than that. Extra effort that can make more plays than just giving up on a play. I think Shane Ray is this year's J.J. Watt. I'm not going to say something, but the next J.J. Watt ability, but he has that motor. Of all the things I've seen about him, he's always going. Never give up on a play. I think he could go he's probably going to go top 10, but if anything, maybe slips and Houston might snag him. I think that'd be a great pick. He can rush the passer. He has that motor. It's something you can't teach. You can't teach motor and just hustle. I think that's a great player if we could get him. Inside backer, Cushing, Muhammad, Toggle. Muhammad played really good. Cushing sucked pretty much all the year until the end of the season. His knees injury, he has a big contract. Restructure that thing or let him go. I don't see him coming back to his old days. He's 2 knee surgeries. I just don't see it really. I think you let him go. Maybe draft a linebacker in the 2nd round or 3rd. There's a couple good inside backers here. And now looking at it from last year, maybe we should have just traded down and picked C.J. Mosley, who had a great season. But I think we should let him go. Jonathan Joseph, another guy, corners now. He's big contract. He was hurt a lot the year before last year, and he was hurt last year. Restructure his contract to let him go. Kareem Jackson, I know he's young and stuff like that, but last year was his only really good year. He was hurt for part of the season as well. I think he's just the guy that maybe played a lot better because of his contract year. He needs to make more money. Come on, people. He didn't really play that good the years before. I don't know why you'd be throwing out all this money for Kareem Jackson, who hasn't been playing that good. I think, obviously, AJ Boye is not your particular starter, but he played pretty decent at the 2nd corner. I think even Darren Morris played great. People might have disagreed with me. I think Boye and Morris had the games. Obviously, when they were 1-2, and then we had Hal playing the slot, we got lit up because there's plenty of games that Jonathan Joseph was hurt. I think we do need depth in the secondary. I think that 16 pick could be used for a corner. Trey Waynes has been thrown around as their consensus pick. I like Marcus Peters. He's had his off-the-field issues. He got kicked off the team at Washington. Guess him and the coach didn't get along. Came out recently and said he took the blame. It's all my fault. But he's ready to play in the NFL. He's going to be ready. I think he has the talent. Before the season started, he had the talent, top 10 talent to be in this draft. The talent doesn't just go away. If you have that talent, you should be going to the top 10. You should be. That's like a Tyrann Mathieu who had off-the-field issues, turned his life around, and now he's a great free safety. Got drafted in the 3rd round. His talent could have been top 10. I think Marcus Peters has better talent and a better ceiling than Trey Waynes does. And I think that they should take Peters over Waynes, but we'll see what happens. Other part of the secondary, Swearinger had an okay year. He can't cover still. I like him at that nickel linebacker spot because I think that's where he thrives in run stopping. Coverage, he can't cover anyone, so I think we might need another strong safety. That's where Landon Collins we could possibly pick. If he falls to us, he'd probably be the best player available, which we usually like to draft. Now that we signed Kendrick Lewis, we picked him up last year, had a great season, one of the better defensive seasons for the Texans. I think they need to sign him. If they don't sign him, then we definitely have to go safety, probably a veteran or a draft. Kicker and punter. Shane Lechler looked pretty lousy last year, and Randy Bullock had his best year so far. So I think they'd probably keep Bullock and maybe look at punter. He's getting really old, and he had some really bad punts last year. Besides that, I think this team has the ability to be great this season. I think it'll be interesting what we do in free agency. Free agency obviously will dictate what we do in the draft. I think if we sign a lot of veterans, we can focus on core. Like if we sign a couple of older tackles or a couple guys in the secondary or a couple inside backers, outside backers, just for 1-year deals or just not major money, I think we could focus on a receiver. We could use another running back because of Foster's getting his injuries and stuff like that. We could focus on the secondary, and other positions. I think it'll be our best interest to spend money on veterans that won't trying to think the word, accrued a lot of. They won't be wanting a lot of money because they're just at the end of their careers. I think we could use that to our advantage. Then draft young players for the other positions we need. Then next year, we can focus on those positions. Besides that, I'll probably be on here with my 7-round mock coming up in a week or two. And besides that, let's go Texans.